going on, everybody? So, sitting here in a Starbucks, editing this video that I'm about to show you, and I decided to kind of divide it up and do something a little different than I thought I was going to. I'm in Colorado at Texas Toast this week, building some guitars, teaching some people how to do some pickups. I was going to show you kind of beginning to end how a block of wood becomes a body, but there's a lot to it, and I want to give you as much of the experience of being at one of these workshops, and also just, you know, for those of you that are curious. So I'm going to break it down a little bit. So right now I'm going to show you how Matt uses a pin router to basically cut all the routes out of the body first. So it's a block of wood that then the neck pocket, the pickup route, and he's going to basically make like an Esquire body. So you're going to see that, but he's going to get kind of in depth about how the pin router works and what that is, because a lot of people don't have those things. So I think it's kind of cool. So here you go. Check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you ever used one of these things? It's kind of an upside down and different version of what we're used to with a punch router. So give it a listen and a watch, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
The first thing that we're gonna let's cut this pickup out first, or let's route for that pickup first. Okay, so the pin will find the hole where the template is, and you're gonna have to kind of trust that it's doing what it's doing. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is route for the bridge pickup. The pin router has an arm that, well, the pin router has two different ways of lowering the depth of this of the cutter. One is a pneumatic head that goes down about 3 inches and can go to I think it's between 3 and 4 inches based on this stop right here, which I will show you in a moment. The other is this hand crank on the side. So we like to start with the hand crank, raising the table all the way up. But you can see what I mean. You can lower the whole table assembly. Okay. So we're going to start with the head all the way up. The pneumatic ram is operated by this foot switch here. Chris or I will probably operate the foot switch for you. The start and stop are right up here. Now, if the stop is pushed all the way in, the start will not work. So that's kind of an emergency stop. Okay. To get the stop button disengaged so that the start button will work, there's a little ring, and you just kind of give it just a little light twist. You have to crank on it, just a very little twist. Okay. And then the start button will start the tool. The pneumatic ram works like this. You just step on the end of it, and it lowers this assembly here all the way down to as low as it can go. There's 6 steps that it can go. They're about 1/8 of an inch staggered from one to the other. When you're using the pneumatic ram, you want to make sure that the assembly is turning before you step on the switch, and you want to make sure that the assembly is all the way up before you move this piece, this dial here. This flat belt actually rides on the router head assembly and this great big wheel in the back. The wheel is driven by the motor, and this moves up and down. So the reason it has to spin is because it will allow the flat belt to track up and down. If you step on that foot switch while it's not spinning, it'll kink the assembly. Okay. The other thing is you can see these bolts here. That's the low-tech thing that's the low-tech mechanism that stops this dial from going any further. So you want to make sure it's all the way up. What I mean by that is you can move it to the next bolt position and it'll go there and stop. If you try to twist this when it's in the downmost position, you'll get it in between two of those bolts and it'll go way deeper than you want it to.
It is possible to get it in between.
And it is possible to get it in between.
So we'll run that part of it.
Okay? You guys, how do you do yours, Charlie, when you're at home?
Plunge router.
Plunge router? How about you?
This is deeper than I'd go.
Okay. Plunge router. Tim, you've already used this, so you know. Okay.
Tim would just come over here.
Tim would just come over here. Yeah.
Probably.
I'd just be like, hey Matt, I have an idea, and then he just does it.
Yeah. The reason we want to set it up too high is just for this. It's easier to lower it in. First thing he's going to do is just a real light pass. It's easier to kind of feel your way around on the template. And then once you got that pass goes over on the outside, it goes in the middle. Go clockwise. Out to the outside.
Yeah, on my stick, on my desk. So the first time that we did this workshop, we had a guy who was really anxious to get his piece out from the out from under the spinning bit, and he would pick it up and he drug it out and he would scratch the shit out of it at least once or twice. So yeah.
So let the tool come to a complete stop. We have enough time to let the tool stop before you remove the piece.
Yep. So I'm gonna do that one too.
Okay.
So you went back to one, then just out of habit, it's going to raise it all the way back up. I really don't need to comment unless you're...
Actually, it makes it way easier.
No, I mean when you're in mask, I can comment, but otherwise you can comment.
Yeah.
Come stand over here though.
Maybe I'll just talk louder.
Well, you know.
So this particular route, he's going to have to go deeper than 5/8. The first thing he's going to do is just do like he did. Just go 1 through 5.
Don't worry, we'll let you guys sweep up all the stuff off the floor later.
Whose stick is that, Matt? Matt's stick.
Just tan stick.
Yeah, hopefully nobody will get
Not a
hurt.
lot of girth.
That's what that poker's for.
Get your hands out of the tool. Or the path of the tool.
Okay.
Is that it?
Well, it is, except for this doesn't have a neck pocket.
So, he put some tape around the pin. So now the pin is a bigger diameter than the cutter, which will make the pocket that he's cutting effectively smaller. Okay? So what he's going to do is he's going to cut his neck pocket, hopefully, effectively, slightly too tight. And then we'll fit the neck from there.
By taking one
By
wrap.
taking tape off. If the neck is too snug, you can take a wrap off and just chase the outside until the neck fits exactly the way you want it to fit. Does that make sense?
So I wasn't watching, just like 3 wraps on the tape.
It was about 4 inches. Yeah, it was probably about 3 wraps. And this is one of the places where he'll probably actually measure the neck pocket as he gets slightly closer to the correct depth.
Not relying on just
Not relying on stops and about 5/8. Yeah, it does. And some of that has to do with how thick the neck is at the heel. Because even fenders can vary from, 0.96 of an inch to a little over an inch, like 103 or something like that. So you really need to fit the neck fit the neck pocket to the neck.
how tight does it need to be, Chris?
Christine 16.
Not too tight, but tight enough. So you want it to go in without a bunch of pressure, but you want it to go in nice.
That's too tight.
So that's too tight. He's going to take a wrap of tape off of it. And there's some massaging you can do of the neck too. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of light sanding on a side to change it.
Do you find massaging the neck makes the hole a little bit looser?
Yeah, and I try not to do that. But sometimes you have to.
So the right way to do it is to control it with the tape right now.
Correct. So here how little it's taking off, it's taking off just a little bit. He kept it at the same depth. Want to blow it out? So we've done this enough that we know pretty much how stuff's going to fit and where you're going to want to be. But you still kind of want to go through because you don't want a loose neck pocket. So what do you think?
Me or anybody else?
No, you.
That's still too tight.
Still too tight. And it also depends on if you're putting what kind of finish you're putting on the neck. If you're putting a fully gloss hard finish on it, you're going to want it to actually kind of fit loose. If you're putting oil on it, you want it to fit snug. If you're doing something light in between, light in between. Now he's going to measure, see where he is, but he's at half an inch. I'm going to say 0.51.
Ooh, 4.9.
Oh, so far off.
God, you suck. Is your calipers calibrated?
He set him to 0. won't have to do any of this neck stuff. Because yours are already done.
And the necks are already matched with the blanks that they got.
Yeah.
So the fit is.
Okay.
Are we? Oh, guessing.
Oh. What?
He's calibrated.
Yeah.
So there's 6.0.
6.0.
These StuMac calipers have a notch in the back. You want to talk about that?
Yes, they have a notch in the back so that you can measure the height of a fret. But what happens is, instead of 0, if you're measuring using this thing, it's off. Unless you zero it out like you did and zero with that setting. You want 625 for now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So typically the way we'll do these, if it's something else, and we can make that deeper just using a bearing bit if we need to later.
Can I see what that neck feels like in that pocket?
Yeah. And you will only be able to get a little bit of it in there because of that.
Yeah, normally if you have the front end of that cut off, it's easier to tell.
And this one has the wheel.
Oh, and it has a spoke wheel on it too, which is, yeah, making it more difficult. All of yours fit really, really well. I went through and checked them all. Plus we're oil finishing them, so they fit really nice.
So there you go. So tomorrow, I guess, I will shoot another video that talks a little bit about some of the other shaping that goes on. So we're going to take this body now, put it on the bandsaw, cut out the shape, and kind of finalize the actual shape of the outside of the body. But that's a whole different process and a couple other tools. And it would get like really long. So we'll split that out. I'll show you that tomorrow. We're going to show you some pickup winding stuff this week in the context of learning how to do it, which is a little different than we normally do. So yeah, anyway, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I think you're going to dig these videos that we do this week. They're a little kind of, you know, just a GoPro on a stick and we just kind of doing them. So it's kind of fun. Fun way to make a video too for me, kind of a little different. So there you go. We will see you tomorrow.